Los Angeles by night has its own set of shadows, and I found myself deep within one. My name's Lila, and I'll tell you about the night that changed everything. Mike, my boyfriend of 2 years, and I hailed an online taxi after a late-night movie. The driver, Damon, was peculiar, with an unsettling, unwavering gaze that seemed too keen. He was dressed too formally for a cab driver, with that pristine bow tie and a crisp suit that looked like it came straight out of the 60s. As the journey started, Mike and I exchanged excited whispers about the film, but I couldn't shake off the feeling of those pale blue eyes watching us. Halfway through the route, Damon took a sudden turn into a more desolate part of the city. Mike protested, but Damon calmly mentioned a shortcut. Minutes felt like hours, and the familiar city lights gave way to a more industrial, run-down area. An uncanny silence descended in the car when Mike's phone buzzed a notification from the taxi app indicating that our ride was completed. Confusion turned to panic as the car doors locked with a loud click. "Last stop," Damon whispered, his voice dripping malice, as he reached beneath his seat. What he pulled out was not a weapon, but an old photograph of me, as a child, playing in my backyard. My heart raced, my mind spun trying to piece together how he could possibly have such a photo. As I grappled with my fear, Mike tried to confront him, but Damon was swift, striking him with a sharp object. Mike slumped, unconscious. The car came to a screeching halt outside a dilapidated warehouse. Damon's demeanor changed. Gone was the calm, replaced with a manic energy. He dragged Mike out and bound him to a chair inside the dark building. I was next, restrained in a corner, gagged, my eyes darting around the room, looking for any means of escape. The warehouse was like a twisted museum. Pictures of various girls, all with fear in their eyes, were pinned on the walls. In the middle was a makeshift operating table with ominous-looking tools. My blood ran cold as I realized none of those girls had made it out. Suddenly, Damon's phone buzzed, momentarily distracting him. Seizing the chance, I used the sharp edge of a rusty nail nearby to cut through my restraints. The ropes gave way just as Damon approached, his intent clear. Using every ounce of strength and adrenaline, I lunged at him, knocking him off balance. A struggle ensued, with both of us grappling for control. Every horror story, every self-defense move I'd ever learned played in my head. But it was the blinding headlights of a car and the sound of sirens that saved me. Startled, Damon momentarily let his guard down, allowing me to land a blow that rendered him unconscious. Police officers stormed in, their radios crackling, guns drawn. As it turned out, a friend, worried about our prolonged absence, had tried calling us multiple times. When she couldn't get through, she tracked Mike's phone and alerted the police upon seeing it stationary in a dubious part of the city for too long. They never found enough to pin any previous disappearances on Damon, and he remained an enigma. The old photo of me was traced back to a yard sale my parents had years ago. It seemed Damon had been collecting mementos for a long time. Mike and I moved on, left the city, but the scars remained. And while Damon was behind bars, I couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. Months later, news reached me Damon had escaped during a prison transfer, his whereabouts unknown. Now, every time a car slows down beside me, every time I see a vintage vehicle or catch the glimpse of a pale blue eye, I'm transported back to that night. Because somewhere out there, he's still driving, waiting for his next ride.